Let's talk about body language, not as a collection of gestures or tricks, but as an expression of who you are at your core. Because when we talk about attracting women without saying a word, what we're really talking about is presence. And presence is revealed, more than anything else, through the body. Most men misunderstand body language. They think it's about mirroring someone's posture or memorizing a list of confident poses. That's not what creates attraction. Women aren't attracted to postures. They're attuned to energy, to congruence between what a man is and what his body is saying. If you're standing tall but your breath is shallow, your eyes are darting, and your energy is tight, she feels the contradiction, even if she can't consciously explain it. Now, this isn't about being physically intimidating or dominating a space. That's surface level and often rooted in insecurity. Real masculine presence begins in the nervous system. If you are anxious inside, your body will betray you no matter how perfectly you pose. But if you're grounded, if your breath is deep, your spine is straight without being rigid, and your movements are slow and deliberate, then your body begins to speak a language women understand instinctively. That language says, I am safe in myself, I am not looking for approval, I am here, and I'm not leaving myself to impress you. This kind of presence doesn't just make you attractive, it makes you trustworthy. Because at a primal level, women aren't looking for excitement first. They're scanning for safety, for stability, for someone who isn't controlled by the environment, but responds to it with awareness and clarity. Your body speaks that message before you ever say hello. Let me give you a psychological angle on this. Our brains have what's called a mirror neuron system. It's how we unconsciously tune into the emotions and intentions of others. When you walk into a room, people don't just see your posture. They feel your internal state, whether you're grounded or scattered, confident or performative. So if you're in your head, rehearsing lines or analyzing how you're coming across, that mental noise disrupts your presence. Your body becomes jittery, your face tenses up, your eyes lose focus. But if you drop into the body, into the breath, the feet, the sensations of the present moment, you re-establish coherence, and coherence is magnetic. Philosophically, you could say that presence is the intersection of self-ownership and stillness. A man who owns his space doesn't need to chase attention, and he doesn't shrink from it either. He simply occupies the moment fully. That kind of man walks differently. He doesn't rush. His head isn't down. He's not trying to take up space, but he doesn't apologize for existing either. Every step he takes is a statement. I know who I am and I move from that place. Now, let's get even more practical. Start with the spine. A neutral, upright spine signals alertness without tension. You're not puffing your chest like a teenager trying to impress people at the gym. You're not slouched like a man who's trying to disappear. You're aligned. From that alignment, the shoulders relax, the jaw softens, the breath deepens, and the eyes open, not to scan the room for validation, but to take in the world from a place of quiet curiosity. Try this next time you're in public. Instead of fidgeting with your phone or looking for something to do, just be. Stand or sit comfortably. Breathe through your nose and observe the space around you without needing to engage it. You'll feel the discomfort at first, the impulse to do something, but if you stay with that stillness, something shifts. People start noticing you, not because you're performing, but because you're embodying a rare quality, composure. This is also where eye contact becomes powerful, not the forced, staring kind that feels aggressive or needy, but eye contact that says, I see you, and I'm not looking away because I have nothing to hide. That kind of gaze is powerful because it doesn't demand. It reveals, It lets others feel seen without being dominated. Remember, women don't just hear your words. They read your nervous system. And your nervous system speaks through posture, breath, movement, and gaze. If your nervous system says, "I'm safe in myself," they feel that. If it says, "Please like me," they feel that too. And while charm or wit might earn you attention, only embodied presence earns real attraction. The kind that doesn't need words to announce itself. So what's the takeaway here? Stop trying to impress. Start inhabiting. Don't worry so much about what you should do with your hands or how long to hold eye contact. Shift the focus inward, towards stillness, breath, and awareness. From that place, your body will start to speak in a language older than words, the language of real masculine presence. And here's the thing: presence isn't something you do, it's something you stop interrupting. Strip away the mental noise, the self-judgment, the constant forward, leaning energy of trying to get somewhere. You don't have to be more to be attractive. You just have to be here fully, and that, your unapologetic presence in the moment, is louder than anything you could ever say. Let it speak for you. If body language is the surface of presence, then inner calm is the foundation. You can't fake it. You can't act your way into it. You either have it, or you're chasing something. And women, especially the ones who are attuned to themselves, can tell which one you're doing, even if they can't articulate it. This is why cultivating calm isn't just a nice idea. It's the core of real masculine energy. When a man is calm, he becomes a container. He becomes a space in which others feel more at ease, more seen, more safe, without him needing to say a word. It's not about being passive or withdrawn. It's the opposite. It's a form of quiet leadership. A man who doesn't flinch at discomfort, who doesn't escalate when things get tense, who doesn't leak his anxiety into the room like static electricity. That kind of man doesn't need to dominate. He stabilizes. Psychologically, this is about emotional regulation, not suppression, not repression, regulation. It means your internal state is not at the mercy of the external world, and that is rare. Most men are completely reactive. You see it all the time. Guys who can't sit still, who talk too fast, laugh too loud, brag for no reason, chase attention because they can't tolerate the quiet. And women pick up on that. It signals fragility. It says, "I can't hold myself together unless you give me something." Now, contrast that with a man who's comfortable in stillness, who doesn't panic when there's a lull in the conversation, who can feel the rise of anger or anxiety or desire without being hijacked by it. That's a man who's in possession of himself. And when a man possesses himself, the world around him slows down, not because he forces it, but because calm is contagious. The nervous systems of others begin to sync with his. This isn't about trying to be calm. That's still performative. Cultivating inner calm means actually going inward and cleaning house. It means developing a relationship with your breath, with your thoughts, with your impulses. Most men are strangers to themselves. They're so busy chasing status or validation or distraction that they've never actually sat in the quiet of their own presence. And when you've never sat with yourself, you come off needy, because on some level you are. You're trying to outsource a sense of peace you haven't cultivated internally. Think of the men you've met who seem unshakable. It's not that they're emotionless. It's that their emotions don't run the show. They're not suppressing how they feel. They're integrating it, moving from center rather than reaction. Philosophically, this is what separates masculine presence from masculine performance. Performance is outward, facing. It's about managing perception. Presence is inward, rooted. It's about alignment, and alignment doesn't come from pretending. It comes from clarity, from knowing who you are, what you value, and what you're not willing to chase anymore. This calm is also deeply biological. When your nervous system is regulated, your posture shifts, your voice lowers, your breathing slows. You become less frantic, more deliberate, and that directly affects how others perceive you, even before you speak. Women, especially, are highly attuned to this, because at a subconscious level, calm equals safety. And safety isn't about being soft, it's about being grounded. It's about signaling, no matter what's happening out there, I'm not going anywhere in here. You can cultivate this calm through practices that train your body to hold presence under pressure. Breath work, cold exposure, meditation. Physical training done with awareness, not ego. These things teach you how to stay centered when your instincts want to flee. And that ability to stay, that's magnetic, because most people are constantly trying to escape the present moment. But if you can hold it, you become rare, and in relationship dynamics, calm is everything. When you're calm, you're not reactive. That means you're not emotionally manipulated by validation, by rejection, by silence, by praise. You're not constantly adjusting your behavior to get a response. You show up, you stay present, you let her feel the weight of your being, not because you're trying to impress her, but because you don't need her energy to complete you. This is a shift from dependency to sovereignty. It means you're no longer begging for peace, you are the peace. And from that place, you naturally attract rather than pursue. Attraction without neediness is the ultimate paradox. It's powerful because it can't be faked. It only happens when you are genuinely okay, with or without her attention. It's also where true leadership begins, because let's be honest, any man can look strong when everything's going well. But when pressure hits, when plans fall apart, when someone tests your boundaries or emotions run high, that's when your calm gets revealed. Can you stay open without collapsing? Can you stay strong without becoming cold? Can you lead without demanding control? Those moments define you far more than your appearance, your game, or even your intellect. That moment of pause before you react. That breath you take before speaking. That steadiness you hold when someone's looking to you for direction. That's where real masculine energy lives, and it speaks volumes, without a single word. So if you want to become more attractive, stop chasing charisma and start cultivating calm. It's not about adding anything. It's about removing the noise of insecurity, of reactivity, of overthinking. Get quiet. Go still. Face yourself. Train your nervous system to stay rooted, even when things get uncomfortable. Especially then, because ultimately, the most attractive man in the room isn't the loudest or the flashiest. He's the one who needs the least, and offers the most simply by being there. Stillness is strength. Let your calm speak for you. We've talked about body language, and we've talked about inner calm, both of which are internal frameworks that shape how others experience you. But now let's shift to something more visible, your appearance. And before you tune out thinking this is about fashion trends or superficial grooming advice, understand this: your appearance is not just how you look. It's a mirror of how you carry yourself internally. It's the armor you wear, the discipline you show, and the message you send to the world without opening your mouth. How you present yourself is not vanity, it's communication. Every day, before you say a single word, your appearance speaks. It tells people how much you respect yourself, how aware you are of your environment, and how intentional you are in how you move through the world. And women are particularly attuned to that intention, because it says a lot about how you live, how you think, and whether or not you're in alignment with your values. Let's break this down a bit. When a man dresses well, not loudly, not extravagantly, but intentionally it tells you something about his relationship to structure. A man who's clean, well-fitted, put together, is signaling that he pays attention to detail, that he's not drifting through life, that he values order, not just for how others perceive him, but because he has a standard he holds himself to. That is attractive because it signals self-mastery, but it's not just about clothes. Grooming matters just as much, sometimes more. Clean skin, trimmed nails, well-kept hair, a healthy physique, good hygiene. These are small things, yes, but they say something loud. They say, I take care of what's mine. And if you can't take care of yourself, what are you saying to the world or to her about what you could take care of together? Now, I want to be clear, this isn't about trying to become someone else. It's not about copying a celebrity's look or obsessing over trends. This is about alignment. Your appearance should reflect your identity. It should reflect your values. Your clothing, your grooming, your scent, they should all be consistent with the man you are becoming. Because here's the truth. Most men dress for comfort. Few dress with purpose. And the ones who do stand out not because they're peacocking, but because they've made a decision. They've chosen to communicate something intentional rather than default to convenience. And that's powerful. Because if you're intentional with your appearance, people assume often correctly that you're intentional in other areas too. Women especially will sense this, and they'll respond to it in a way that's subtle, often subconscious. They won't just see the shirt or the shoes. They'll feel the energy behind the man who chose them. Psychologically, what we wear affects how we feel and behave. This is called enclosed cognition. If you dress like a man who's confident, you tend to behave with more confidence. If you dress like someone who's careless, you tend to move through the world carelessly. So this isn't just about how others perceive you, it's also about how you regulate and elevate your own state. There's also a philosophical point here. How you present yourself is a form of discipline. It's a way of showing respect for the opportunities and interactions that come your way. When you walk out into the world looking like you just rolled out of bed, what you're really saying is, this moment doesn't matter. But if you believe truly that every moment is an opportunity to express something meaningful, then your appearance becomes an extension of your values. Think of a man who walks into a room looking sharp, not overdressed, not desperate for attention, but deliberate. He doesn't need to announce himself. People just feel that he's aware, that he respects the space he's entering, and that he has standards. That kind of presence, when paired with the calm we discussed earlier, is incredibly compelling. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being in alignment with yourself, and that radiates outward in everything, including your appearance. Let's not forget scent either. This is often overlooked, but smell is one of the most primal senses we have. A subtle, clean, well-chosen scent can make a deep impression without ever being consciously acknowledged. It creates a sense of memory, of intimacy, of distinctiveness. Again, not because you're trying to seduce, but because you're aware of the atmosphere you bring with you. A man who smells good is a man who's tuned into himself and to his environment. What you wear, how you groom, how you smell, these are choices. And choice is power, because the man who chooses, instead of defaulting to ease or habit, is the man who's awake. Awake to his role, awake to the moment, awake to his own presence. If you want to attract without speaking, this is part of the equation, because long before your words land, your image already has, and it's either reinforcing your presence or undermining it. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to be rich, but you do need to be intentional. Choose pieces that fit. Keep yourself clean. Move with pride. Dress like a man who respects himself. even on the days no one's watching, especially on those days. Because ultimately, attraction starts with alignment between who you are, how you feel, and how you show up in the world. Let the way you carry yourself speak for you before you ever have to. There's something quietly powerful about a man who moves with purpose. You see it before he even enters the conversation. It's not that he walks faster than everyone else. In fact, often he walks slower, but there's intention behind every step. He's not just drifting through space. He's going somewhere. Maybe not physically, maybe not right this second, but you can feel that his life has a direction, and that direction shapes his presence more than words ever could. Purpose is not a slogan. It's not something you put in your Instagram bio or try to explain on a date. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about having a center of gravity, something you're anchored to. A man without purpose feels like a leaf in the wind. He may be charming, funny, welled, dressed, even confident on the surface, but there's no weight to him, no direction pulling him forward, and that absence is felt, especially by women who are intuitive and self-aware. They can tell when a man is just floating, when he's looking for someone to complete him instead of living from a place of completeness. When you have purpose, you don't need to speak as much. You're not performing. You're not trying to win people over. You're simply being, and that beingness has its own gravitational pull. It's not about trying to impress, it's about being impressed upon by your own vision. When a man is aligned with something greater than himself, when he's building something, learning something, training towards something, his presence takes on a different quality. It sharpens, it deepens. It becomes magnetic. Psychologically, this has everything to do with orientation. The human nervous system is built to follow direction. We're wired to feel best when we're progressing, when we know where we're going and why. Without that orientation, we default to distraction, and distraction kills presence. It scatters your attention, dulls your energy, and makes you chase stimulation instead of cultivating substance. A man without purpose leaks energy. He's easily pulled off center, swayed by moods, opinions, or the desire for quick validation. And again, women pick up on this, not just logically, but physiologically. They feel whether you're rooted or not. They sense whether you're leading your life or waiting to be led by someone else. Now let's be honest. Finding your purpose is not some romantic, lightning strike moment. It's not always clear. Often it starts as a whisper, a sense of direction, a subtle dissatisfaction with the shallow life. But if you listen, if you move toward it consistently, you begin to carve out a path that no longer requires explanation. It's felt. Your purpose might not be flashy, it might be quiet, but it gives you something to wake up for. It gives shape to your energy and structure to your time. And when you have structure, when you live by your own code, you naturally command more respect. You become less reactive. You stop chasing every opportunity, every woman, every high, because you've already chosen something more valuable, your path, and ironically, that's what makes you more attractive, not because you're trying to be, but because you've stopped needing to be. Philosophically, this is about agency. A man with agency doesn't just respond to life. He initiates, he builds, he refines. He sets the tone of the room rather than adapting to it. And presence, real presence, is a byproduct of that agency. You can't fake it, you can't shortcut it. Presence comes when your inner world is in order, and that order comes through discipline, direction, and commitment. Even the way you listen changes when you have purpose. You're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're not seeking approval. You're simply absorbing, filtering through your own lens of experience and intent. And that kind of listening is rare and powerful. It makes people feel seen. It makes women feel like they're speaking to someone real. Now I want to be clear. You don't need to be rich or successful or famous to embody this. You could be a broke man on a mission, and your presence would still carry more weight than someone 10 times wealthier who's spiritually drifting, because it's not about your status, it's about your alignment. Are you moving forward with clarity and conviction, or are you waiting for someone to give you permission to begin? That's the difference between a man who is alive and a man who is just existing. And when it comes to attraction, women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join you on it, or at the very least they want to see that you're not expecting them to save you from your own stagnation. When you're clear on your path, you stop needing someone to complete your identity. You're no longer dating from emptiness, you're relating from abundance. That alone sets you apart in a world full of men who are silently asking to be rescued. So here's the challenge. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop fantasizing about your future self and start building him now in small, consistent steps. Read, train, reflect, build systems, track your progress, get bored with distraction and obsessed with momentum. Your purpose doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Own it, and then let it shape how you move, how you speak, and how you show up without ever needing to prove anything. Because the most compelling men are not the ones shouting the loudest about who they are. They're the ones whose direction is so obvious, so embodied, that you can feel it the moment they walk into a room. Let your path speak for you, clearly, silently, and unmistakably.